60 years ago in June, Charlie had a class, a 2-week ecology class called Appalachian Field Studies. And we spent those 2 weeks camping the whole time down in the highlands of West Virginia, Monongahela National Forest and vicinity, and then eventually down into Virginia for a little bit. But most of the time was in Monongahela. And the last day, we were camping at Spruce Knob Campground by the lake there for quite a while. The last morning we were there, we broke camp, and through a friend of his that knew the Singsagandi came. We broke camp, and he guided us to the sinks and got us over the right fence and to the entrance, and we got through it. And you know how muddy it is getting out of that thing. So we were, very muddy, and then you go back into the creek and try to clean up a little bit. But the thing was, Charlie had an appointment later in the day to be in Green Bank, West Virginia, to have a tour of the Green Bank radio telescope.
Right, the array.
Yeah. And we were running late. And so we were pushing it. We finally get to the Green Bank and the observatory. And back then they had a guardhouse at the entrance. It wasn't open like it is today. You just go in and they've got like a museum and you get on a tour bus and the whole thing. But Charlie had this paper that said we were scheduled to be there. And Charlie knew we were running late. So he just went right past the guardhouse. Well, there was 3 vehicles here. Charlie was leading and I was driving my car and somebody else had another car. There were like 10 or 12 of us. And next thing we know, there's 2 guards coming on the guardhouse with rifles. And they're pointing them at Charlie's car and yelling. And I think he saw what was going on in the side view mirror and stopped. And he showed him the paper that he was supposed to be able to come in here. And they said, "Sir, you're not just an hour late. You're a day and an hour late." So they got on the phone and called to who he was supposed to see. And they said, "Well, let him in." And he gave us a bit of a tour of the place. But I'll never forget that experience.